Well, fresh from his overseas odyssey, the Prime Minister is back on home soil and already all out of ideas on the domestic front. Labor has come up with a plan for first home buyers under a 5% deposit scheme, which came into effect today. Oh, but hang on. It comes with this caveat for house prices.
It will have a minimal impact. There will be a slight increase in prices, but already 185,000 Australians have benefited from this scheme with minimal impact on prices. Treasury did modelling. They suggest a very small increase.
So let me get this right. This is a policy designed to fix the housing crisis, get more Aussies into homes, yet it will make house prices go up? And not to mention, it means first home buyers will have to borrow more and save less. More buyers, fewer homes and higher prices. It's a complete and utter dud. A quick political fix, tricking first home buyers into thinking Labor has your back. But in reality, the great Aussie dream is further out of reach. Is this seriously the best Albo and the Housing Minister Claire O'Neill could come up with? I don't know, maybe we should cut the minister some slack. She had a busy month of August, of course, focusing on the engagement of Taylor Swift. I mean, here is a prime example of a couple who can actually afford a home. So good to know that the housing crisis is over, at least for celebrities. Maybe that is the standard of which the minister forms housing policies on. Perhaps that's why she couldn't even explain what it all means today.
The economics are, according to experts, you are adding demand into a hot property market.
What we are doing here is genuinely opening up home ownership to a generation of young people.
But wait till the prices go up. They'll have to pay more.
Bridget has talked there about the fact that we've got a generation of young people growing up in our country who are telling us they're delaying starting a family.
If you increase demand and not supply, the prices will go up.
Really respectfully, Nat, the Department of Treasury, the best economists in the country, have looked at this. That is not the finding that they've made.
Now, look, we have to get first home buyers into the market as much as we have to get everyday Aussies into housing. Already, house prices across the country are at record highs. On the current trajectory, property prices are expected to reach 7.8% by the end of December. That's up from the initial projection of 4%. And now they're about to go even higher. Add a 5% deposit scheme to the mix, it's the perfect storm. And the issue is, this still does not solve the problem. It's an issue Labor does not want to solve. Immigration. The only thing that's propping up the Ponzi scheme economy. Labor is bringing in migrants at record levels, which is putting phenomenal pressure on the housing market. Yet here was Albo today spinning it via a roller coaster of emotions that it was other factors at play.
They understand that we need to boost supply. And we need to boost supply. We are dealing with supply. We're increasing supply.
Our government absolutely understands that the housing affordability issues faced by the country are solved by housing supply.
Yeah, it's like as a press conference went on, the tone changed. We need to boost housing supply. We're increasing supply. Look, Labor is already failing to reach its own targets. Leaked Treasury advice revealed Labor's National Housing Accord target of 1.2 million homes between 2024 and 2029 will not be met. But the Treasurer says everything is fine.
Our housing target is ambitious, but it's achievable if everybody does their bit, and we're doing our bit. And what the figures have shown over the last 3 years is whether it's construction costs, whether it's dwelling approvals, whether it's new investments, we've been able to turn that around.
This is just not true. Latest dwelling approvals for July, released yesterday, shows approvals are 22% behind the National Housing Accord's 5-year goal of 20,000 dwellings per month. In the year to August, just over 189,000 dwellings were approved for construction. That's almost 51,000 fewer than Labor's target of 240,000 homes a year. And that does not even guarantee construction. Labor has failed to deliver a single housing target. Housing affordability is at its worst level in more than 2 decades. Approval rates are the worst in the last 12 months. Building approvals are at 20-year lows. And the opposition is rightly asking questions.
Yeah, the government's signature housing policy, the Housing Australia Future Fund, has delivered the equivalent of single-digit homes in the Sydney market. They haven't spent nearly any of the money that has been appropriated to them. They are very cagey about the figures. They're promising more homes in the future, but their contribution to the housing supply at the moment is, basically negligible.
As I said, the only genuine solution to the shortfall is to reduce immigration because it's having a huge impact. If current trends continue, net permanent and long-term arrivals could reach almost 600,000 by December. Where are we going to put all these people? Anyone looking for a rental right now knows how tight the market is. Have a look at the latest rental vacancy rates. Sydney at 1.4%, Melbourne 1.8%, Brisbane 1%, 0.7 in Perth and 0.8 in Adelaide. It's so tight out there. Yet March this year saw massive immigration numbers, 110,000. That is well above recent averages. Labor's Big Australia policy is ruining this country. Economist Leith Van Onselen, who has been at the forefront of this immigration debate, writes the cheapest, easiest and fastest solution to Australia's housing supply problem is to reduce net overseas migration to a level that is well below the capacity to supply housing and infrastructure. Australia's politicians and so-called experts paint Australia's housing crisis as a lack of supply. However, the crisis is primarily a problem of excessive population demand. So Labor can get out there with these placards, quick fixes and political solutions to get first home buyers into the market. But this is a dangerous policy. Young Aussies will be plunged into more debt. There are no caps or limits on the number of places available under the scheme. House prices will go up as a result. Everyday Aussies will continue to be locked out of the market as a result. And the solution is to have the courage to debate migration. Our country is depending on it in more ways than one.